former Saskatoon Realtor charged with a hate crime. What he's accused of posting online. The city moves forward with its planned homeless hubs. Why some Saskatoon neighborhoods are not on board with the idea. And turning parking problems into a holiday gift for the season.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. A Jewish advocacy group is applauding Saskatoon police for arresting a local man accused of a hate crime. CTV's Laura Woodward now on the charges laid following a disturbing trail of anti-Semitic comments.
It's time to disassociate from the Jews.
This is Brandon Taylor Moore, a 45-year-old Saskatoon realtor accused of using social media to promote hate against Jewish people.
We're talking about slogans such as "Make anti-Semitism great again." These are some of the most vitriolic posts that one can make, and they are truly diabolical in nature, and his intent was to incite hatred.
Last year, Jewish advocacy group B'nai B'rith filed a complaint with the Saskatchewan Real Estate Commission. Moore's license to trade real estate was terminated in May of 2024. Around that time, he posted on X, saying, quote, "B'nai B'rith of Canada are trying to paint me as a racist anti-Semite. That couldn't be further from the truth."
If you don't like what I'm saying, it's just because you haven't done your research.
On Wednesday, Moore was charged with public incitement of hatred and unsafe storage of a gun.
It's incredibly concerning that somebody who holds such harmful views has access to firearms.
Moore made his first court appearance on Thursday and is scheduled to be back in provincial court in January.
There's a serious problem in this country of radicalization, of extremism, of the glorification and promotion of terrorism and violence. And it's not just an issue that impacts one group or one community. It's a fundamental matter of national security.
The Saskatoon Police Service says right now it's working on 3 investigations related to anti-Semitism.
I hope the message is clear. You will be held accountable for your actions.
Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
I think that
the city is moving ahead with its plan to provide better supports for homelessness, buying properties to incentivize affordable housing and supports, and prepare for a new warming center. But as Keenan Sorokon reports, some Riversdale business leaders feel their concerns are being ignored.
Daryl Brown has owned Phoenix Starter Alternator Repair in Riversdale for 34 years, and he feels decisions coming from City Hall in recent years are hurting the neighborhood.
Through their actions or inactions, right? They are choosing to do this willfully.
On Wednesday, City Council approved the purchase of 6 properties, 4 of which are intended to be sold to affordable housing providers, with 2 others being well situated to become a navigation hub Council previously supported. The lease for the warming shelter was also finalized, renting it out for $10 a month to the province, who will task the Saskatoon Tribal Council to operate it. But Brown says none of these conversations involved surrounding businesses.
We aren't at odds over the goals. What we're at odds over are the methods and the lack of transparency, communication through administration, council, and the mayor's office.
The chair of the Riversdale Improvement District is calling on the city to stop concentrating homeless services in the area and wants prairie harm reduction to move.
We feel we've been blindsided numerous times.
One member of City Council says it's time for the city to start servicing other areas instead of putting 2 shelters next door to one another.
I think we need to stop the insanity of doing the same thing over and over again, and we need to start looking at decentralizing these issues.
Council voted to seek more consultation with businesses and residents in Riversdale moving forward, but Kutsagiannis is waiting to see more than words.
I think I have to see the walk, not just listen to the talk. I've heard the talk too much.
Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
It's been another blustery day across much of Saskatchewan. The snow was falling in the Prince Albert and Saskatoon areas today, with the wind gusting to 20 kilometers an hour in Prince Albert and up to 30 kilometers an hour at times in Saskatoon. The Highway Hotline reporting most highways throughout the province were partly covered with travel not recommended for several areas. Some highways were also closed for most of the day, including Highway 11 near Davidson. RCMP advising people to stay home if they did not need to travel. Saskatchewan, Jeff. A blustery day, I think that could be said for most of the province.
Most of the problem. We anticipated strong winds, and one of the problems we run into is not only do we have windy conditions, even if there isn't any snow falling, those areas are still impacted by the snow that's already on the ground. It gets whipped up. That's certainly been the case in southern Saskatchewan. No real active snowfall, but the roads in and around Regina certainly dealing with that blowing snow, a real serious problem there. This system continues to make its way through Saskatchewan, ultimately moving out of the province as we make our way into the overnight period. And then in behind it, I'm afraid it looks like it's going to be a big Arctic air mass that's moving in, and it may be sticking around for quite a while.
We are learning more about the worker who died in what Mosaic called a fall of ground incident at its K3 potash mine near Esterhazy on Monday. Unifor Local 892, which represents workers at the mine, has identified the worker as 41-year-old Tyrone McLeod. He was a miner operator at K3. McLeod is survived by his 2 daughters. The union called his death a preventable loss, and it launched a fundraiser for the family. Unifor says the incident is under investigation by the provincial Ministry of Labor Relations and Workplace Safety and the Chief Mine Inspector. Mosaic said Monday it was working closely with regulators. The union said it's also ready to participate in the investigation in what happened and share its findings with labor officials. A celebration of life for Tyrone McLeod is set to be held in Yorkton over the weekend. A man on trial for drug trafficking offenses has been found guilty. Tyler Bear was found guilty on charges related to drug trafficking in Prince Albert, as well as the possession of a prohibited firearm and ammunition. He had previously pleaded guilty to resisting arrest and was acquitted on 2 charges related to the illegal operation of a motor vehicle. The charges stem from a series of events in July of 2023. Bear had been involved in a police pursuit and was carrying a backpack found to contain more than 30 individual bags of methamphetamine, along with a scale, more than $1,000 cash, 2 cell phones, a loaded firearm, and ammunition. Sentencing arguments are tentatively scheduled for February 13th. A public inquest into the death of a woman who died at a Saskatchewan correctional facility has been rescheduled for the new year. 33-year-old Lynette Kakakaway was found unresponsive in her cell at Pine Grove Correctional Center on June 24th, 2022. Paramedics tried to resuscitate her, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. The inquest into her death was originally scheduled for this past September, but was adjourned at the request of her family. It is now set to take place in Prince Albert, January 19th to the 23rd. Her family has maintained her death could have been avoided. The inquest will aim to answer questions about what happened with the coroner's jury at the inquest, then potentially making recommendations to prevent similar deaths. A Saskatoon advertising company has pleaded guilty under Saskatchewan's occupational health and safety regulations after a serious workplace injury just over 2 years ago. On October 11, 2023, a worker with Sleek Advertising Limited was removing glass panels from a shipping crate when several of the panels pinned the worker to the ground. The employee was seriously injured as a result. The company was charged with violating an OH&S regulation intended to ensure employers inform, instruct, train, and supervise the health and safety of workers. After pleading guilty, the court imposed a fine and victim surcharge totaling $40,000. A Cudworth woman who was a bookkeeper for a Saskatoon business has been charged with fraud. Saskatoon police received a report of fraud in June. The owners of the business believed they had been defrauded of large sums of money. Investigators with the Economic Crime Section found that about $340,000 had been misappropriated from business accounts. They found the money was being used for the accused's personal expenses, including the purchase of a Ford F-150 truck. The 53-year-old is now facing charges of fraud over $5,000 and trafficking in the proceeds of crime. She was released and is scheduled to be back in court at the end of January. The Saskatchewan Health Authority says the security officers at Victoria Hospital involved in a recent incident are no longer permitted to work at the hospital or any other SHA site. Prince Albert Police tell CTV this is the online video related to an incident where officers were called on December 11th for a man lying in the snow. The video was posted on Facebook and shows security officers tending to an individual in the snow. CTV reached out to the Facebook account that posted the video to confirm who shot the footage but did not hear back. Prince Albert Police said that the man was intoxicated. The SHA acknowledges the man was removed from the hospital by security and says a review of the incident determined that the actions taken by the security officers involved did not meet SHA standards. The security officers involved were employed through a contracted security provider. The SHA says it will work with Prince Albert Grand Council to implement an Indigenous patient liaison within the emergency department at the Victoria Hospital. A public survey is now open as part of the province's independent review into the devastating 2025 wildfire season. MNP, the company chosen to run the review, is putting out the survey for people to tell them about their experiences in hopes it could lead to a better response to fires in the future. The responses will be anonymous and seen only by MNP, not the provincial government. It's open from today through January 30th and is one tool being used in the assessment. MNP will also be looking at the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency's process and speaking with impacted communities. The final report is expected prior to the 2026 wildfire season. The town of Outlook is in the third and final phase of the process to bring back water service to residents. After a break in the town's treated water facility, the town had been instructed not to use any water for any purposes since Monday. Maintenance crews removed the compromised water and sanitized the reservoir. In a message this morning, the town says it's flushing the system a second time before moving on to the next step, asking residents to help by flushing toilets, showering, and doing laundry. Free water had been handed out to residents during the incident. The town says it will provide another update this evening. Final exams for the semester are being written at the University of Regina, but a student from Ukraine says he can't take part. His visa has run out and there has been a delay in processing his renewal. And as Wayne Mantika reports, it has ended his opportunity to continue with his studies.
This University of Regina student says he applied for a visa extension last May, but it wasn't until 2 weeks before finals that he learned there was a problem.
Sadly, I was not been able to continue. I had to stop and wait till the issue is resolved, and for now it's still not that clear.
His family arrived in Saskatchewan back in 2022 on a special government flight. Their 3-year visas were recently extended, except for Anton's. The federal government wanted confirmation from the university that he is a student, but Ottawa's request never arrived on campus.
He's fully dependent on us, and he won't be able to stay in Canada and where he should go. I mean, there is no way, he's our family.
Anton is also a goalie for the Regina Capitals. The team says it has never encountered a situation like this.
I think every team in the south of our league, without exaggeration, was very interested in acquiring him. We were fortunate to get him, and we've had a tremendously successful season as a result.
The University of Regina is trying to help. So is NDP MLA Keith Jorgensen.
It is unfortunate that something that is such an obvious clerical error in the Department of Immigration federally is not correctable.
The university is willing to defer Anton's final exams if his new visa application is approved soon. There is no indication on when that will happen, but he won't be allowed to continue studies until the immigration approval does come. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Getting a parking fine can be frustrating, but one Saskatchewan city has found a way to add a festive twist. As CTV's Stacey Hine tells us, the city of North Battleford is letting people pay for their ticket with a toy.
A pile of toys ready to be opened Christmas morning. No, this isn't Santa's workshop. It's North Battleford City Hall. Over the past few weeks, drivers have been able to pay off parking tickets by donating a toy of equal or greater value.
Once they bring in a toy and a receipt, to show us that they've done that, we will actually erase their ticket for them.
When drivers are ticketed, they receive a slip outlining the Toys for Ticket option. Now in its third year, the program was pitched by a clerk after seeing a similar idea in Alberta. It requires City Council approval, and so far, it's been a holiday hit.
It's been really greatly received by the public, and they've been fairly generous when they're bringing in a toy to take care of their ticket.
All toys collected are donated to local charities. Last year, the program filled 3 truckloads of toys for the food bank's holiday hampers. This year, donations are heading to Battleford's Interval House, a women's shelter.
A lot of times they leave everything behind. They come to us, and so having gifts like this for clients in the house, it means a lot for them because their kids can have toys.
As the program wraps up for the season, the toys will soon be delivered, turning parking tickets into a little holiday cheer.
I don't encourage people to park illegally, but this is probably going to be the one time this year that I do, just to make kids' Christmases a little bit better this year.
Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A Moose Jaw Muay Thai fighter has added to his already impressive resume, bringing home a new belt from his latest bout. Jacob Carr explains how the athlete has checked off another goal on his to-do list.
Cameron Billy is back in the gym training now, but less than a month ago, he was celebrating the biggest moment in his young fighting career. Billy's friends and family were there to witness and cheer as he won the WBC amateur cruiserweight title in late November.
Cloud 9, man, like I was going insane. I remember I was crying in the moment. I was like just ecstatic, right? Put about 3 years of work into something, and you know, this was the goal from day one. I wanted the gym, I wanted to fight, I wanted a belt, and just to feel that was just, man, like goosebumps even talking about it now.
Billy's trainer of the last 3 years, Alex Daly, was overjoyed to see his student win the belt, and Daly says he knew from the get-go that Billy was a special kind of talent.
He didn't know who I was from the next person, so he was coming at me pretty hard from the beginning when we were doing some sparring, and from that day forward I knew he's someone to keep an eye on and put some time into.
Despite checking off another milestone on his career to-do list, Billy is now gearing up to head to Thailand, the Muay Thai motherland, where he'll go through a rigorous training camp this January.
Just the skill, man, the skill. I'm going to be there for 6 weeks, so I'll be fully immersed, waking up 5 a.m., running, training, sleeping, training, same thing over and over and over again, so I'll come back even more lethal, right?
The Lamai gym where Billy will be training is the same gym that Daly coached at for 6 years before coming to Saskatchewan.
That's quite close to my heart that he's going back to my old gym, which is nice to know, and I know he'll be in good hands. Excited to see the future of what Cam has to offer. I think he's going to go all the way, and I expect him to be wearing a world championship belt within no time.
Billy's first defense of the cruiserweight title will be March 21st in Kananaskis against challenger Kobe Carr. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, a Toronto man charged with offenses that targeted the city's Jewish community. Also, when could we see movement on a new trade agreement with the U.S. and Mexico? You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. A Toronto man is facing a number of terrorism-related charges linked to ISIS, as well as dozens of other criminal charges related to offenses in the Greater Toronto area that allegedly targeted members of the Jewish community. CTV's Jeremy Sharon is following the story from Ottawa today and what we know about the suspect.
The RCMP and Toronto Police announced these charges today, from kidnappings to hostage takings and terrorism charges linked to the Islamic State. 26-year-old Toronto resident Waleed Khan was taken into custody by the RCMP on November 26th. Khan is facing 7 terrorism-related offenses in connection with an RCMP investigation, including allegations that he conspired to commit murder for the benefit of, at the direction of, or in association with a terrorist group. He's also one of 3 people charged in connection with a Toronto police investigation dubbed Project Neapolitan, launched last spring after 2 violent incidents in the GTA. Khan, along with 18-year-old Osman Azizov and 19-year-old Fahad Sadat, are facing in that investigation a combined 79 charges, including kidnapping, attempted kidnapping with firearms, conspiracy to commit sexual assault, and hostage takings. Police say some of the offenses were informed in part by hate-motivated extremism and targeted women and members of the Jewish community.
It's an absolute matter of urgency for our governments at all levels to work with law enforcement to take the steps necessary today to prevent not just the crimes that were announced earlier this morning, but to get at the root cause of this heinous violence.
Meanwhile, earlier this week, the Canadian Security Intelligence Service said it sees no indication of a specific threat in Canada following a mass shooting at a Hanukkah celebration in Australia. But CSIS did warn of the realistic possibility of an extremist attack on the Jewish community here in Canada. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Prime Minister has confirmed Canada will begin formal talks with the U.S. in January on reviewing the current free trade agreement. International Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc will lead Canada's delegation in Washington. The Americans insist a lot will depend on resolving concerns about Canadian policies on dairy products, alcohol, and digital services. Mark Carney says certain trade irritants mentioned by the U.S. are elements of a much bigger discussion about continental trade. Retired NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, his wife, and their 2 children have been identified as among 7 people killed in a plane crash in North Carolina. The Cessna plane crashed at a regional airport north of Charlotte yesterday. The airport serves NASCAR teams and Fortune 500 companies. Records show the plane was registered to a company run by Biffle. NASCAR says the news is devastating. The 55-year-old Biffle raced professionally from 2002 to 2016 and won more than 50 races across NASCAR's 3 circuits. The U.S. Justice Department has begun releasing thousands of records tied to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking investigation. And the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, says several 100,000 more will be released in the coming weeks. The release includes photographs, call logs, grand jury testimony, and documents. Among the photos, former President Bill Clinton in a hot tub, the late Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, rocker Mick Jagger with Epstein's friend Ghislaine Maxwell. President Donald Trump's name appears in a contact book, but it's not clear who the book is belonging to. The Justice Department discovered more than 1,200 victims and their families in a review of the documents. The Liberal Party of Quebec thrown into chaos this week. The party, which has run Quebec many times, lost its leader yesterday. Pablo Rodriguez has officially resigned under a cloud of allegations about the party's leadership campaign, which he won. But Rodriguez says he did nothing wrong and is leaving out of a sense of duty for the good of the party. CTV's Matt Gilmore reports.
Pablo Rodriguez steps to the podium for the final time as Liberal leader.
J'annonce aujourd'hui ma démission à titre de chef du Parti libéral du Québec.
He says he's leaving with his head held high, with no regrets, despite weeks of mounting controversies. Rodriguez's leadership campaign is facing allegations of a cash for votes scheme. Quebec's anti-corruption unit has opened an investigation into the party, and now further allegations that some of his donors were reimbursed for their campaign contributions. The pressure to resign became too great to withstand.
They should have taken care of this way before.
He's probably a nice guy, he's probably an honorable man. Made mistakes, he's got to go.
Even as he steps aside, Rodriguez maintains he personally did nothing wrong, but admits he's become a distraction.
The Quebec Liberal Party is bigger than any of us. It has weathered storms. It has risen time and time again, and it will rise again.
Liberal MNA Jennifer Macaron says the caucus remained united behind Rodriguez until the end.
Nobody was forcing Pablo out. This was, I think, an honorable decision that he made today himself to choose the party.
But she made a point to distance the party itself from the current controversies.
It wasn't about the party. It was really about an individual and about leadership race rules.
Convincing voters of that is the difficult task now facing the Liberal Party, heading into an election year.
I'm a Liberal voter. I have been for years, since my dad. I'm just really disappointed lately with a lot of what's being seen with the Liberals.
I think the Liberal Party needs a real leader, somebody that can take hold of Quebec as a whole society. And I think that's what's been missing for many years.
So Pablo Rodriguez concludes what is now the shortest tenure in the history of the Quebec Liberal Party. Next, we're told the party will hold a full leadership race around 5 to 6 weeks long. We're told that will happen as soon as possible, with the next provincial election just 10 months away. Matt Gilmore, CTV News.
All right, Jeff, a lot of people wondering if they can put their shovels away, but not yet.
Come on, why put them away? But they love you. Why not love them back? No, we've got ourselves a sort of a, I keep using the word mercurial, but it's, sort of an up and down situation when it comes to the steady stream of either we're not getting a bunch of snow, and we're not getting a bunch of cold. We're getting them back and forth. So that's how things are shaping up. And in fact, the cold's sticking around for a while. We might even get some snow thrown into that. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's take a look at our current temperatures. Minus 18 right across the board. Oh, that changed. Minus 19 in the Battlefords. We have some light flurries in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. The snow has stopped here in Saskatoon. But look at those sustained winds out of the west-northwest at 41. So that minus 18 feeling closer to minus 30. We were looking at, again, not quite as strong in winds in Prince Albert, but still strong winds in the Battlefords region with a core temperature of minus 19. Minus 13 is the high. That was around 6 this morning, and temperature's been dropping throughout the day. So our current temperatures are low for the 24-hour period. Minus 10 is typical for this time of late December. 9 degrees is the record warm temperature on this date from 1923. Minus 40 was the temperature back for December 19th in 1989, and that still stands as the record. The sun came up at 9:12, and it went down at 5 to 5.
Coming up, Jeff is back with your updated weekend forecast. And later, the baby video gone viral, while millions of viewers wanted to watch this youngster.
CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan is on holidays. On behalf of all of us, we wish you a safe and Merry Christmas. We're back Monday, December 29th.
Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got going on. Well, still some strong winds out there. It's whipping around this snow, even though it's not actively falling right now. There's sort of a gap because the radar indicates there's still more snow on the way. But look at those pretty Christmas colors. La-dee-da. All right, let's take a look and see what we've got going on in the satellite and radar shot. Still a lot of active weather that extends through Alberta into Manitoba and northern Ontario and parts of the Great Lakes. So another storm with a fairly big wingspan. And as we have mentioned earlier on, the big deal in so many respects has been the wind, the very strong winds creating problems on highways. As Chantal mentioned earlier on in the program, we did have some highway closures as well as travel not recommended alerts for many parts of southern Saskatchewan in particular. Minus 18 in Saskatoon, minus 18 in Prince Albert, minus 19 in the Battlefords. And just to recap, and you can certainly see it's certainly windy in Saskatoon and the Battlefords. 8 degrees for the daytime high, or the provincial hotspot today. Yesterday, Maple Creek was the hotspot at -1, but today at +8. Minus 38 for Stony Rapids. They are the provincial cold spot for today. Around the province we go. Minus 21 degrees in Lloydminster, minus 19 in Swift Current and in Yorkton, minus 18 in Regina, minus 12 in Estevan. Into central parts of the province, temperatures ranging not all that much, quite frankly, from minus 18 in a few locations down to minus 21 in both Kindersley and Nipawin. Making our way up north, temperatures really drop off in Stony Rapids. Minus 36 degrees right now, minus 25 in Key Lake. It warms up to minus 20 in both Buffalo Narrows and La Ronge. And down south, no breakout temperatures here. Minus 13 -14 right now in Carlisle, -15 in Maple Creek and East End and Coronach for that matter, and Indian Head, -19 degrees in Outlook, Elbow, and Melville, -20 in Leader. On to our futurecast with the computer modeling indicating that the snow moves out, but what moves in behind it doesn't really show up on the computer models, but I can tell you that it's cold Arctic air, and it will be in place for a while, especially on the weekend. For tomorrow, we've got ourselves temperatures in the -20s in the north. Buffalo Narrows expecting a little bit of flurry activity. Mainly cloudy skies in Meadow Lake, Spiritwood, and Kindersley. Mainly sunny in Rosetown, but temperatures in and around that 21 or 22 degree mark on the minus side. -22 in Outlook as well, but -18 in Leader, -14 in Swift Current, but a relatively balmy -10 in Maple Creek. We've got ourselves mainly cloudy skies in Yorkton and Regina and Estevan, and Moose Jaw a bit more sunshine, but not a lot more heat. Temperatures in the southeast hanging around that -20 degree mark or thereabouts, and a similar temperature pattern for most of east central Saskatchewan. Melfort at -19 with some of that lingering snow, -21 in Watrous and Humboldt, and Hudson Bay at -17. The Battleford's tonight dropping down to -29 with frostbite in minute. That lingers into tomorrow. And as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, yes, we'll just go zoom right through the weekend over towards Christmas Day, -18 with mainly cloudy skies. Well, okay, I'll backtrack. Christmas Eve, it looks like there could be a shoveling situation there, so keep that in mind as you head into the holidays. Light snow still expected in the Prince Albert area with risk of frostbite overnight into tomorrow. Tomorrow's daytime high, a cold -18, but even colder on Sunday with -21 for a high. -19 with maybe 5 centimeters of snow on Monday, -21 on Tuesday. Christmas Eve, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow expected, -17. Just a slight chance of flurries on Christmas Day, -17 as well. And Saskatoon, -26 overnight, periods of light snow. A risk of frostbite, that risk includes, or the lingers into tomorrow, -23 tomorrow for a daytime high, so more than 10 degrees below seasonal. Staying cold on Sunday. Monday, -19 degrees, -17 on Tuesday, -15 on Wednesday with a chance for some flurries, but Christmas Day, mainly cloudy, but a chilly -16 degrees.
One time I trip over the hem of my dress, skid the palm of my hand off. Wasn't late.
Ouch, that's got a sting. Taylor Swift is sharing a sneak peek at the next episodes of the docu-series, offering a behind-the-scenes look at her high-profile Eras World Tour. The music superstar opens up about some of the logistical challenges in putting together the record-breaking tour. She also shares some moments with special guests who took part, including fiancé Travis Kelce and Sabrina Carpenter. Episodes 3 and 4 of the End of an Era docu-series debut today. Actor Harrison Ford is set to receive the SAG-AFTRA Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, the 83-year-old is known for several iconic characters such as Han Solo in Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Ford will be recognized March 1st during the 32nd Actor Awards, streaming live on Netflix. In a statement, the veteran actor said he was, quote, deeply honored, end quote, by the choice. It's the battle of my two most favorite songs of all time. My second favorite holiday song is now #1 on the Billboard Global 200 charts. Wham's Last Christmas has dethroned the Queen of Christmas, Mariah Carey, and her holiday hit, All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's the first time her song and my favorite Christmas hit has dropped from the top of the chart for the first time since 2020. But it's not all lumps of coal for Mariah Carey. She still sits atop the U.S.-centric Billboard Hot 100.
So glad both of your favorite Christmas songs are
I know. Christmas came early.
It did for you.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas comes early every day, though, with Pick of the Day, though.
That's right. We have some lovely shots here. We're going to start off with this one. It's like Wild Kingdom. This comes to us from Glenn. 2 deer fighting at Horse Lake, Saskatchewan. Now, Glenn says he captured this image on a game camera. That is quite the image. Now, are they fighting, though? Maybe they're just making fun of humans. Like, hey, look at me. I can walk in 2 feet. So can I. Yeah. Maybe they just read Animal Farm. Animal Farm. All right. Orwellian. Moving on. Here we go. our large cat Luna staying warm under the covers of this on this cold day. Getting a big stretch in there too, so thank you, Tana, for sharing that image with us. And finally, another critter picture. Cam Parker sends this picture, our dog Coda on the deck at the start of the blizzard. And I believe Cam told me it's a shepherd, and I forget what kind of I think a Sheltie. Anyhow, it's a dog that obviously likes the cold. So I'll check on the breed that is from Cam. But thank you, Cam, for sharing that picture of Coda. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to Pick of the Day at cfqcnews@ctv.ca, and please put Pick of the Day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, All in the Family, the seemingly singing baby who's become an internet sensation. A 4-month-old baby from northeastern Ontario has become an internet sensation after appearing to sing along with her mother at choir practice. CTV's Madison Merrier has their story.
Bernard Lafontaine posted a video for friends and family, and over 6 million views later, she's getting calls from around the world.
Sweden, Italy, there's liaisons from the USA that are working with People Magazine and USA Today. And Brazil has been really, really big because Senna is named after Ayrton Senna.
Little Senna appears to be singing along as the choir performs, and her mother is not surprised as music is a big part of her family's life.
Both my husband and I are very musically inclined, and so are her grandparents and her great-grandparents. So I think probably just from the womb, always hearing music and just being the happy baby that she is, I think music will run in her blood.
Lafontaine said she posted a video of the choir's performance as a preview to their big show.
We go to choir practice together, and she loves it. We bring her little play mat, and she'll just be babbling and cooing. And she loves choir.
She only noticed Senna cooing after the song was finished. And when Lafontaine watched the video, she thought it was a great reflection of her happy baby.
The video that you're seeing is just literally how she is on a day-to-day basis. We're blessed with a very happy baby.
Lafontaine hopes the video brings people some Christmas cheer and inspires new parents to continue going out and doing the things they love.
I hope that this inspires also some parents that are on maternity leave or that are home with their child to just go out there and do things, and that the community does support bringing your child and not to be afraid and stay home.
Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
When we come back, Ontario and New York ink a new deal on nuclear power, and later the ride service without a smile.
Welcome back. Time to check out the rural forecast for Saturday. And temperatures, as we advertise, are going to be cold. You got ourselves temperatures in the -20s for just about everywhere on this part of our map. -26 for Lloydminster tomorrow. So certainly chilly there. Any kind of little wind will make it seem all that much colder. Hudson Bay -17. A little bit of flurry activity expected in Melfort. -20 for Wynyard. Down south, -10 in Maple Creek. -12 in East End and Rock Glen and a few other places. But we can tell you that we do get into a lot colder air mass by the time we make our way over towards the eastern side of the province. -22 in Rosedale, -21 in Lumsden and Pilot Butte, and then you can sort of see that way that angles across the province. And yeah, it's cold, cold, cold. Does that include Hafford? Well, I think it does. Yeah, that's right. -22 degrees. We can tell you that tonight's the night we find out who wins the decorating contest. New Year's Eve we have a public skate at the Communiplex in the afternoon, and this Sunday, I think it's Sunday. Yes, Sunday. The Mustangs start off their season. I believe it's their first home game. So lots of things going on in Hafford. Tomorrow, a high of -22 degrees. And Hafford is one of the many places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford was in Buffalo to ink a new deal on nuclear power with the governor of New York. Both leaders made repeated reference to the strength of the cross-border relationship. But as Rachel Aiello reports, ties like these will soon be tested as the U.S. is demanding concessions in the 2026 review of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade deal.
We're going to stand firm and let people know who our friends are.
Signing a new cross-border nuclear energy agreement, the leaders of Ontario and New York reaffirmed their cooperation.
We're here today to celebrate and strengthen the deep relationship between New York and Ontario.
Though it's these kinds of cross-border ties that will soon be tested when the CUSMA review begins. In mid-January, Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc will meet with his D.C. counterparts to launch discussions. This week, the top U.S. trade representative told Congress the Trump administration has a wish list of trade irritants Canada needs to address. Jameson Greer wants expanded access to the supply-managed dairy market.
We're obviously very concerned because all of the things that the Trump administration is talking about currently would have a direct impact.
The USTR is also unhappy with Canada's online streaming and news laws that impose obligations on major American tech and media giants.
For us, we don't see that there is a legitimate cause for this to be on the table.
The Prime Minister says these issues are just a piece of the broader discussion that's about to get underway.
We will always pursue an agreement that is in the interest of Canadian workers, Canadian families.
Those involved in the last round of trilateral trade talks say it'll be key for Team Canada to stay united.
So the talks that are going to kick off in January is the beginning of what will likely be a long process. So my advice is brace for a lot of ups and downs.
Canada did make concessions during the NAFTA renegotiation. This time around, as Donald Trump tries to extract more, those in the supply-managed dairy and egg sectors I heard from today said they expect Mark Carney not to crack. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, we take you to Gingerbread Lane. Then why the Grinch gets back on Santa's sleigh in Peru.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Well, a sweet holiday tradition has returned in New York City.
I don't go for perfection in each piece. I try to create a scene. If you look at each individual house in Gingerbread Lane, you can probably find 20 things wrong with it. But when you put them together, the sum of all the parts, we go for a beautiful vista. And I think that's what people really like.
Gingerbread Lane is back. The massive wintry wonderland made up of cookies, candy, and frosting is now into its 32nd season and 14th year in the Big Apple. The village includes more than 750 gingerbread structures, all baked and decorated by one man, John Lovich. He currently holds the Guinness World Record for the largest gingerbread village.
Very impressive indeed.
That would take a lot of patience and a lot of candy. Yeah. All right, we know how the Grinch stole Christmas, but this one is stealing the show in ride services. A taxi complete with a sleigh, presents, lights, and a reindeer, as well as the Grinch, as a driver, is courtesy of Jefferson Castro in Lima, Peru. He is trying to spread holiday spirit this season. Castro has dubbed his illuminated vehicle the Moto Noel, a blend of moto for motorcycle and Noel, of course, for Christmas. So
very nice.
Spreading cheer.
Sure. A few smiles to be had there, no question about it.
Hopefully that child's not riding on the top, but it's Peru, but
sure
maybe
enough.
just a look.
You know, we'll just simply tell you that the blustery continues, weather continues. We're hoping the winds will be backing off in the overnight period, but once we get past this pit of the storm, the cold Arctic air moves in earnest, and it's going to be sticking around for quite a while into Christmas. The temperatures abate a little bit by the time we get to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but they will still be below seasonal.
Absolutely, and RCMP is still not advising travel, it's
Yeah.
best to check out the highway hotline because there were many highways closed earlier today.
Travel not recommended, highway closures, so there you go.
All right, well, despite the weather today, people were lacing up their skates by the Bessborough. The Kamagomi-Wasson skating rink at Nutrien Plaza is open for the season. The rink is a popular pastime during the winter, and it's free for all to enjoy. It's open Wednesday to Sunday between noon and 8 p.m. It'll be closed, though, on Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and the 27th, and then also when the temperature with the wind chill reaches minus 31 or lower. So we'll leave you with some sights of that and have a safe and happy holiday season. I'm off next week. So
well, good for you.
We'll see you after Christmas.
All righty.